It's kindergarten through second grade.
That's not big.
That video I showed you guys, it was 910 students in that room.
It doesn't even look that big.
I know.
Okay, the great.
So my name is Katie Ayers, and I am a second grade teacher at Hoover Elementary in Cyfair. This is my 4th year teaching. With CJ, Lucky, and C.A.P.S, I've had a lot of experiences. I've been listening to CJ and the C.A.P.S albums with my students since I started teaching 4 years ago. Every class I've had, we listen to the albums in the morning when they're coming into school. We listen to our favorite songs throughout the day. We use CJ's music to work on growth mindset in our morning meeting time. Also, definitely like when we're having those tough moments throughout the day, maybe when a kiddo is struggling, we're like, hey, do you remember what CJ said in his song that we listened to this morning? Like, it's okay if you don't understand something. Like, mistakes help us to grow and learn. So we've had a lot of experience listening to CJ, but we've also had the C.A.P.S tour come to our school, and we had so much fun. I think when Mr. Rice, our principal, announced that the C.A.P.S tour was coming to Hoover, the whole school was like, oh yay, so excited, and my class just like fell out on the ground. They're like, no way, this cannot be happening. And it was just like, okay, well, we just have to celebrate the rest of the day because we're so excited. Like, we had a countdown calendar on our wall. Like, oh my gosh, you guys, it's 7 days till CJ and the C.A.P.S tour is coming. And it was just the most exciting thing they've ever had at school, I guess, for them. In my classroom, I've seen CJ's music and the C.A.P.S albums really help my students kind of understand what a growth mindset is and helped them use that throughout their learning. So when they get down or get frustrated, you know, they know that they can take a break and come back and hit it again, and that they are still growing and learning and succeeding. It's not all about the finish. It's helped us really kind of enjoy the journey of learning and not just kind of rush through to the finish line. You know, you want to be able to learn and grow with that, and they've really taken to that. And the music that we listen to, We Love the Power of Yet and The Power of Mistakes, those are kind of our 2 favorite songs that we listen to. And especially, it's really hard for kids to make a mistake and be okay with that, because they understand that that's part of the growth mindset, that those mistakes, we can learn from those mistakes and move forward with them and move forward in our learning because of them. When the C.A.P.S tour came, it was the wildest, craziest, most enjoyable experience that we've had as a school, especially as a whole group. A lot of times, because we have a larger school, some of our younger kids and our older kids don't get to mix up together so much. But when the C.A.P.S tour came, our pre-K students and our second grade students were able to celebrate and learn about growth mindset together, which is really cool because you don't get that many kids in one spot very often. I remember they're just like sitting there chanting like CJ Lucky. They were so excited. And a lot of times our kids don't get that excited for, you know, like mom, dad, teacher. And so to just see them so excited about something that was going to help them grow and learn, I was like, yay, my teacher heart. And after the tour was over, the kids were like, oh, well, I know that my brain is growing and that my brain's not finished growing. So even if I'm still working and learning, I am gonna get there one day. I am successful and I know how to learn. And that I definitely think was from the C.A.P.S tour. So if somebody was thinking about C.A.P.S coming to their school, I would definitely suggest it if you're on the fence. I think that it's a great way for kids to understand growth mindset, to get them excited about it. It's a hard concept, especially for our younger ones, to understand that there's a whole journey of learning. It's not all at one time happening. I've found that through music, that's a really good way for kids to learn different things. And so the growth mindset music that CJ has that is part of the C.A.P.S tour is just so exciting for them that it sticks with them. Using the music and bringing the tour is just a really great way for them to really understand such a concept that's hard for even adults to really truly understand. Growth mindset is so important for us in our classroom. I tell my students at the beginning of the year, you're not gonna know everything in second grade because otherwise you would be in third grade. If you knew everything, you wouldn't need to be here. We're learning, we're growing every day. And so mistakes are okay because when we make those mistakes, they help us learn, they help us grow. For the kids to understand that, it's like super important because otherwise it can be so frustrating and discouraging. And I think that school can be hard for some kids, and if it's discouraging, they're not going to want to continue to learn and grow. And that's how kids end up not liking school and not wanting to be in school, especially when we see them older in middle and high school. Kids, sometimes they just had such a tough experience when they were younger in school that when they get older, that's not somewhere they want to be. When we teach the growth mindset, it not only helps them understand that you're learning and growing, but it also helps them kind of develop a desire to learn and a desire to grow their brain and just to learn. C.A.P.S supports my classroom so much by fostering this growth mindset. Sometimes when you hear mom say something, you don't really believe it, but then when somebody besides mom says it, you're like, oh my gosh, this is the greatest thing I've ever heard. And that goes for your teacher too. Sometimes when your teacher says something, you're like, oh, she's just saying that. But when they are listening to the C.A.P.S music and the tour and they're like, oh my gosh, the mistakes really do help us learn and we really can grow our brain. And when we persevere, we learn more and we just grow so much. And they're like, oh my gosh, this is the greatest thing I've ever heard. And I'm like, guys, I'm right here, I'm saying the same thing. But it's just like another person kind of advocating for that same thing for our kids. It's a village to teach a kid. Like anybody who's there to support that kid throughout their journey, you're a part of that journey in their life.